We are recording, and I'm letting everybody in.
Well, good morning, almost afternoon. I'm Sarah Pearson. I am with the Boca Chamber, and thank you for joining us at our June virtual Pulse presentation. I'm very excited about today's topic. It's probably the one area that I need the most education in when it comes to social media, and that's LinkedIn. And from what I understand, we have an awesome presenter that is very well known and respected in our community, Mark Nudelberg with On the Ball, who is like the expert guru of LinkedIn. So I'm very excited about today's program. So really, we're going to get started right away. So down at the bottom of your screen, for those of you who have not Zoomed 800 times since this COVID situation happened, down at the bottom, there's a Q&A button. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask, you're welcome to just click on that button and type in your question. You can either send it to everyone or you can send it directly to me. And at the end of this program, I will kind of moderate those questions for our speaker. So you can do that. Also, just so you know, we are recording this presentation. So it will be available on our YouTube channel after this event is over. So what I'd like to do is ask that Jordan Sherwood. Jordan is on the Pulse committee. He is also our incoming or co-chair of the committee. So he will be representing the professionals under 40 for the year to come, sitting on the Chamber's board and really making sure that the professionals under 40's voices are heard at the board level. He's going to introduce our speaker today, and so without further ado, Jordan Sherwood with ESPN.
Thanks for that introduction, Sarah. And yeah, really excited for this presentation today, and really for everybody that took the time to join us. I know we're still new normal, whatever it is. I think you'll definitely enjoy this presentation. I've actually seen it several times and seemingly learn every day. So without further ado, I want to introduce our speaker. He is the president of On the Ball. Mark is a former Division I college football coach turned entrepreneur, and I think most people will be happy because he has ties to basically every Florida school. I mean, most of his tenure was at Florida State, but he has some Gator ties, he has some Canes ties, FAU ties. I think like South Florida might be need to have a little love, Mark. So maybe you go down there, or maybe we got some Big Teners or SECers in here. But nonetheless, I'm sure you'll learn that Mark is all about relationships. He's all about connecting people in sales, and he has a ton of digital marketing expertise as well. I look at Mark as a friend, someone that I've worked with before, someone that can connect and really understands where everybody is in all walks of life and shape in business. So if you're new to LinkedIn, if you consider yourself a veteran of LinkedIn, I think that you'll learn some good things today. This bio says he delivers with energy and passion. We'll wait and see to judge if he actually lives up to that hype. But excited to give the floor to Mark, and hope you guys enjoy the presentation. Mark, you're on the ball. It's all yours.
Thank you for using the term, Jordan. It's really my pleasure to be here, guys. Really excited to share with you today. I appreciate the opportunity both from the Chamber and from Jordan. As Jordan alluded, I worked with him at Good Karma Brands for just under a year when I had recently transitioned out of college football coaching and got into the business world. So I hold Jordan in high regard. I know he works his tail off. I know he is just as committed to the community and just as active as I was in the year that we worked together. So it's really my pleasure, and thank you so much for having me. Without further ado, we're going to jump in to what's going to happen today. I'm going to introduce myself, give you my background, where I come from, what I'm about. We're going to jump into mindset and a little bit of how you should be thinking and what the fundamentals of your thought process should be before you even dive into LinkedIn, and then how that mindset will carry through as you move on to LinkedIn and what some of those strategies and tactics are within the platform itself. So really excited to get involved with you guys today, and here we go. So as Jordan talked about, I have ties to a lot of Florida schools. I was a college football coach for a decade. I grew up down here in Broward County. I went to Cooper City High School, grew up in Cooper City, and then went on to Florida State, where I became a student assistant college football coach during my undergrad. I worked my way up through the organization during my time there. When I graduated, I got hired as the assistant special teams coach for Jimbo Fisher and his staff in 2009. I spent 3 years there as an assistant special teams coach, went on to the University of Cincinnati, where I became the special teams coordinator and tight ends coach. From there, went to the University of Florida, where I spent a year and sat on the other side of that rivalry. From there to the University of Nevada, and then from there to Lafayette College, which is in Easton, Pennsylvania. So 10 years took me all over the country, and learned a lot of really basic fundamentals of success that carried directly over to once I got out of coaching and had moved back to South Florida and started working at ESPN West Palm Beach and Good Karma Brands with Jordan. Absolutely cannot present without mentioning my father, Steve Noodleberg. Some of you may know him. Maybe your colleagues know him. He's a very well-known individual down here in South Florida, serial entrepreneur, serial sales guy, and a connector just like myself. Most of what I had learned about how to build relationships, about how to leverage relationships, come from my dad. So a lot of my basic fundamentals that led to me having a lot of success in football came from him. And then I learned a lot about leadership, teaching, and just basic principles of success moving through coaching that helped me when I got to Good Karma. So now I am the president of On the Ball Ventures, which is our company, my dad and myself. We help businesses grow through sales and marketing, and just in general work with people to move people beyond where they think their limitations are. So I hope that answers all of your questions. More than willing to answer questions about what we do and how we do things, but I want to make sure that I'm efficient with our time here and get to what we need to get to. So that is who I am. That is where I come from. And I'm excited to share the rest of this stuff with you guys today. So as we jump into a mindset mentality, there are going to be two fundamentals that I want to talk about. The first of which being, no matter what you do or how you do it, the greatest indicator of your success will be your relationships. Who you associate yourself with, who you have access to, and who you surround yourself with are prime examples and key indicators for the success you can have. As you look across industries at CEOs and different successful people, even down all the way down to the bottom of the organization and the grassroots salespeople, the people who are most successful are the people who have the most quality relationships with valuable people, right? So when we ask people, are you an investor? Most people immediately think that we're talking about the stock market, right? You invest in some kind of capital, you build a portfolio of all these different investments in order to get return from those investments. So when I'm asking you about investing today, I want you to change your thought process a little bit to two basic forms of capital, which are relationship capital and social capital. Relationship capital being who you know, who you have access to, who you are able to pick up the phone and call, send a text message to, send an email to, and have direct dialogue with. And social capital being who knows you. Right. And I think we're going to talk about a lot of things on how LinkedIn can help you with those things and how to leverage it that way. But in my opinion, and what has led me to success in both football and in business, is my relationship capital is very, very rich. The people I choose to bring into my life, the people I choose to surround myself with, the people that I consider my inner circle are people that I rely on. People that I know I can ask anything of at any time and know that they'll be willing to help me with whatever it is. So building that relationship network and that portfolio of relationship capital, but then also the social capital, right? So those people I know, and I know I have access to them. But the other part of that is social capital, which is who knows you, right? A lot of you in this group may know who I am. I may not know who you are, but you've heard about me from somebody some way. And in the world that we live in today, there's never been more opportunity for you to be able to drive more social capital for yourself than anywhere else. So focusing on those two things as the most important forms of capital that you need to be investing in, and how to invest in those things, right? Because when you build relationships, the fundamentals for building relationships are being likable. And the reality is that not everybody is going to like you, which is okay. But if you put yourself out there to the world at scale in order to remove the people that don't like you, find the ones that do in order to uncover opportunity to then drive new forms of business or personal growth or whatever it is that your goal is, that's an unbelievable opportunity that exists to us today. So I'm excited to talk about how we do those things and what we do. So you invest in your capital, you invest in relationships, you invest in social. How do you get the return on those relationships? And what does return on relationships look like? I think, a massive change that has happened in business in general is that most people used to function out of a transactional mentality, right? Whether you were in sales, whether you were in marketing, whether you were growing your own business, whatever it is, it was all about getting that single transaction in order to create the income and stack on top of those as many transactions as you could. In today's world, it doesn't matter if you're buying from Tesla. Nobody is buying anything unless they have a direct relationship with the brand or the person that they're buying from, right? I mean, large scale, when you look at Tesla, Apple, Google, a lot of people buy from those brands because of the brand recognition and the relationship that it's built at a brand level. But when you get to local business, people buy people. That is the bottom line of how business gets done. I don't care if you have the greatest tool in America. If you're trying to sell it to somebody, or you have an idea that you're trying to give to somebody, they will not take it from you if they do not like you. So in order to get the return on that relationship, how do you build and manage relationships at scale to build likability, to build trust, to build credibility, and all of those things, which is what we're going to talk about today as we continue to move through relationships. So change, right? Talked about how the world changed from a transactional to a relationship buying mentality. But the other change is that where people's awareness and attention are different than ever before in history, right? Primarily, the only way to get somebody's attention was either through the phone or through what they were consuming, whether that be radio, TV, reading in print, all of those kinds of things. That was the only way to get somebody's attention. You either had to interrupt their day by knocking on their door and showing up in person, or you had to interrupt their day by calling on the phone, or as we got email, getting into somebody's inbox to show up that way. But when the internet hit and social media hit, that created a massive change in where people's attention went. And I would challenge you that attention and awareness might be the most important commodity that you can have in business, because going back to the return on relationship and relationship capital and social capital, in order for people to know you, like you, and trust you, they have to know about you. Not only do you have to have their attention, but then they have to be aware of who you are, what you do, and what you're about. So in today's world, where there's 3.2 billion smartphones, right? And on average, there's 63 interactions per day on that phone. You're talking about 3.2 billion people that have this thing right here, and they're looking at it 63 times a day, okay? I don't watch TV 63 times a day. I don't listen to the radio 63 times a day. I don't read a book 63 times a day. This is the only place in America where you can get the majority of people's attention. So understanding that people's attention are in a single place that has absolutely no barrier to your entry is the other foundational piece of thinking that I need you to focus on. So number one, right, you want to invest in relationship capital and social capital. and you want to get as much attention and awareness as possible, those are the two key fundamentals to when you go into using LinkedIn, how to use it properly and how to develop a great strategy to use it as a tactic. So talking about opportunity, right? With everybody being there, the opportunity for you to build your own personal brand. And for those of you who would say, oh, well, I'm not a brand, I don't have my own brand because I work for this company, I would challenge you on that 100 out of 100 times, because when I went to go work for Good Karma Brands, I wasn't just representing Good Karma Brands. I was representing myself in every interaction I was in, every Boca Chamber breakfast that I went to, every Palm Beach Chamber breakfast I went to, every social networking event, every event that I emceed, every organization that I was a part of. I was carrying both myself and who I was into all of those events. It is the exact same when you jump into the social media world and you're trying to grab people's attention and create awareness for yourself. You're not just representing your company, you're representing who you are. And if relationships are at the foundation of all successful business, then in order to build a relationship with everybody in your audience, you have to put yourself out there to figure out whether or not people like you, because I'm going to take you to this next slide. And for those of you that are marketing people, you know this as the marketing funnel, right? Salespeople have absolutely no idea what this funnel is because they're not worried about that. In traditional business, marketing was in charge of building awareness, driving consideration so that people could make decisions, creating inbound business, right? Salespeople were in charge of outbound. They were in charge of cold calling, cold emailing, knocking on doors, jumping through windows, doing whatever they could to get people's attention awareness to try to get people to buy a product, right? Well, the game changed when this funnel could be applied to you personally, right? Whether it be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, I don't care what it is. There are audiences in every single one of those distribution channels. And if you feed that audience, you're building awareness for who you are so that people consider whether or not they want to be involved in your life and aligned with you. If you're in sales, buy from you. If you're looking to grow your network, be aligned with you in order to make a decision on, yes, this is somebody that I want to be aligned with, or no, it's not. So understanding that LinkedIn is an unbelievable tool and tactic to build and manage relationships at scale through applying this funnel to yourself. You look at just the way you would look at TV, radio, or print as a distribution channel to put the message of what the company is and what it's about to build relationships with consumers. It's the exact same thing for yourself as you're building your own personal brand and building your professional network and driving new opportunities and new business, okay? So I hope I'm not moving too fast through this, but I want to make sure that I get through everything that we're doing. So that's the fundamentals of what we're talking about. Now we're going to dive into LinkedIn. And I want to define what is LinkedIn. Not necessarily why LinkedIn, but let's define what it is first, because I think if you're familiar and comfortable with social media, you tend to want to call it a social media platform, which you could say it is. Okay, there's a lot of users on it, right? There's no barrier to entry. It's followers and content sharing. Sure, I'll give you that. It has a lot of forms of social media and being a social media platform, but I want to turn it on its head a little bit. So let's first define who is on LinkedIn, right? What about it is true? And these are numbers prior to pandemic. These numbers skyrocketed during the pandemic. But there's 660 million total users on the platform, okay? Of those 660 million, 40% use the platform daily. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, I want to be where the people are. It is my job to uncover opportunity for On the Ball to grow the business, right? Whether that be sales, whether that be strategic partnerships, whatever it is, it's my job to uncover opportunity. opportunity exists where people are. Of those users, 90 million are senior level influencers, 46 million B2B decision makers, and 10 million C-level executives. So the thing that you know about this is the people that you are looking to get in contact with or align yourself with, to learn from, to gain some knowledge from, to create a connection with, are on this platform. And 40% of them are using it on a daily basis. That is an unbelievable stat. So that's who is on LinkedIn. What LinkedIn actually is a 24-hour networking event. So I wanted to, for a second, take yourselves back to the last Boca Chamber breakfast that you were at, or the last networking event that you were at that was held in either, you know, a big ballroom or a big restaurant where everybody's there and everybody's exchanging information and you're talking to the people you know, and those people are introducing you to the people they know in the room, and everybody's going about saying who they are, and there's the guy in the room that is 100% handing out business cards as fast as he can, and nobody wants to be around that guy. It is the exact same mentality when you walk in to the networking event that is LinkedIn, except it's happening 24 hours. And it's not just within the Palm Beach County, confines, or the Broward County confines. This is a worldwide networking event where everybody is there. And the best opportunity you have is that you actually get to stand on stage and deliver your message to everybody in the audience, which I don't know about you, but every event that I go to, I would love to be able to stand up at the start of the event and say, hey guys, my name is Mark Nudelberg. I'm president of On the Ball Ventures. We love to help people and businesses grow. I would love to have a conversation with you. If you're interested, here's my info. Who wouldn't want to do that at every single one of the events? You get everybody's attention, right? And you're able to build the awareness of who you are. The exact same mentality when you walk into LinkedIn. So what are the real opportunities that you should be looking at when you walk into the platform? The number one thing is to learn, okay? If you are walking into LinkedIn saying, I'm here to find as many decision makers as I can in order to make sales, you will get blasted out of the platform as quick as you walked into it. The number one thing you want to do is you want to get in there to learn, because there are C-level executives, there are entrepreneurs, there are people who are actively sharing all of the information that they have, that they've learned, all the expertise that they developed on a daily basis in posts. So the first opportunity for you is to learn. The next is to build relationships. And how in school, how in your life have you built relationships? It's by aligning on a commonality. It's by figuring out what you and another person both agree on or like, and then having relevant dialogue about that leads you to like each other, makes you both feel good about each other. And you say, you know what? I like being around you. Why don't we do business together, right? If you can do that at scale within this platform, again, showing up to deliver value to somebody, to add to somebody else's network what you have to offer as a person, not as what you represent as a company or the service you provide. Now you're on the right track of learning, building relationships, building reputation, right? Nowhere else in the world can you go to one spot and figure out everywhere that somebody has worked, what their philosophy is on things, what they represent, who they like, what they follow, the things they comment on, all of the information you need to know about a person in absolutely one place. You can do that for yourself within the platform and then grow professionally, right? Grow personally, find insight from people that are from successful people that are giving you information on how to get better as a business person and as a human being, right? Grow your network. Include people into your world that you might not have ever had a chance to align with before, but because of what the platform allows you to do and get access to them, you're able to grow your network in a way and drive new business. If you're a sales professional, there's no better place to connect with prospects on relevant dialogue that matters to them in order to create relationship, to drive new opportunity, and to uncover new business. Okay, so those are the 4 key opportunities for you as you jump into the platform. So I've talked a lot about value, right? Value. And whenever you're doing business, people do business with you because they like you and you can deliver some kind of value to them, whatever it is. The platform offers you two specific ways to deliver value. First is your profile, which we'll talk about it here in a minute. Most people use it as a resume. I haven't actually used a resume in over 15 years. I don't even know why they exist anymore. Every time I've ever been hired, whether it be in college football or in business, nobody cared about what my resume said. They cared about what everybody else who knew me said and what I was able to do in front of them, how I made them feel, and how I showed up in the interview. So taking that mentality of, okay, how do I take that and create personal awareness, right? Deliver value through my profile. We're going to talk about how to do that. And then the other thing is content creation. I get, the people that we work with, they talk about, the first hesitation is, well, I don't know what to share or how to share it or what to do. We're going to talk about those things and why it's so critical. But I want you to think about this for a second. If you have a TV station, if you have a movie production company, if you have a radio station, if you have a magazine, and those things are filled with blank pages or empty film or silence, right? That's a complete waste of space and a complete waste of an opportunity, right? LinkedIn is giving you the platform to share knowledge, expertise, information, things you like. If you're not using it, your channel is now blank, clear, empty, and you're not taking advantage of what you can do with it, okay? So starting with the profile, okay? Most people in their tagline right underneath it, they have the title of what they do, okay? This to me is an opportunity. This is the #1 networking magazine in the world. When somebody comes to my page, I want them to know who I am and what I'm about. So number one, if the box behind my profile picture is blank, it's an empty space. You're not delivering any value. You're not telling them anything. You're not creating any kind of messaging. For me, that's a picture of when I coached at Florida State, because my coaching background is essential to who I am as a person. So I want to communicate that to people. There's emotion in there. It's showing that joy of winning. This communicates a lot about who I am in a picture. Profile picture, right? This is me emceeing a cystic fibrosis event in last October. This is all communicating a message to people of I'm active. For some reason, somebody would allow me to have a mic. Why, I have absolutely no idea. And I have a sports background. Great. Okay. This creates intrigue. So now let me go to the tagline. Tagline says, former college football coach delivering the disciplines of winning to business. It does not say president of On the Ball Ventures. Right? It does not say VP. It does not say senior marketing consultant. Why? Because that's what I do. That's not who I am. And in today's world, who you are is more important than what you do. People buy you before they buy what they do. And that's true for everything, whether you're trying to get a new job. People, if they like you and believe in you, they will give you the job whether or not you're qualified for it, because they know, they have a feeling about, oh, you know what? I like this guy. He's going to do what he needs. I like this girl. She's going to do what I need to get done. So I'm not conveying what my job is there. I'm conveying what's important to me and how I do it, because it's creating more reason for somebody to have a conversation with me. At the end of the day, everybody that comes into my world, I want to have a conversation with, because conversation is going to allow me to uncover opportunity, whether it's there or whether it's not. And inside of that section, right, you can see that I work for On the Ball, and you can see that I went to Florida State University. So there's no point in my tagline having president of On the Ball Ventures. Now you go down a little bit further, right? The about. This is where you have the opportunity to communicate your value proposition as a human being to whoever it is that's interested in you, okay? So for me, I go into how I'm an energetic leader, the things that I've done in my career, where I've been, what I'm about, the experiences that have led me to being who I am. Not in a page-long, diatribe. It is a 5 sentences broken up, attention grabbing, and leading people to want to have a conversation with me, okay? Also, in there, you're going to see all of those links underneath my about. That's a podcast that I've been on. That's an article that I've been featured in. That's an interview that I've done with somebody. Anything that's relevant to who I am as a person, not what my job is. Because I want people to know who I am and what I'm about before we ever get to start talking about business, okay? So as you scroll down there, it's gonna have an experience tab for you. I can't tell you how many people I get messages from that I think they're at one job and they're actually 7 jobs away from that because they don't keep this updated. So this also drives home the fact that you can see that I'm president of On the Ball Ventures here. You can see that I was a marketing consultant at Good Karma Brands and everything else. I don't have to make sure that it's in my title because they have a section there that allows me to tell people what my title is and what company it is that I work for. Keeping it updated with this is where I've been and this is what I've done is absolutely critical to the experience part. So why? Why have that page? Why have it updated? Why keep all the links there? Because for those of you that are in marketing and understand SEO, and those of you that don't, that's search engine optimization. That's so that when people go searching for either a field that I'm involved in, a company that I work with, or something that pertains to me, if my page is updated and active, I'm going to show up higher in the results for them to see me. So you can see right here, there's a tab that says, who viewed your profile, right? Nowhere else in America do I get to know who's talking about me or who's looking for me in the place and actually find out who those people are. So if you click on who's viewed your profile, it tells you in the last 90 days who has come by your profile and what they do. Okay, so for me, I've had 1,372 people come by my page. Okay, this is inbound. Forget all of the activity that I'm doing outbound to build relationships, meet new people, and grow my network. This is 1,300 people that have came to me through the platform. Within that 1,300, 86 people have the job title CEO and executive director. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't find the networking event where I can find 86 CEOs and executive directors in a room that I now have a reason to have a conversation with, right? And I'm going to talk to you about how I use these things to create conversations and what I do, but understanding the power of keeping your LinkedIn profile up to date with what's happening in order to drive people to who you are in the business world, okay? So here's a great example of what I do when somebody who I want to talk to comes by my page. Andrew Stoltz, who's a senior sales leadership and business development executive, comes by my page, right? Great. I see his title. I see his name. All right, I click on everybody that comes to my page. I go to theirs to figure out what they're about. I see that this is a guy I want to talk to. I see that he went to the University of Georgia. Thanks for stopping by my page, Andrew. I almost took a job with Kirby and UGA before I stepped out of coaching football. Would love to connect for a virtual coffee to share stories. Go Dogs. Nothing in there about doing business. Nothing in there about having an agenda to get across what I want to do. Do I think I could probably help him? Sure. We help sales leadership all over the country. Can we help him? Maybe, I don't know. But that's not why I'm trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to have a conversation because I want to develop a relationship with this guy because he can either help me or somebody he knows can help me. Okay? He fires right back. For sure, Kirby's a great guy. I played with him. Just let me know. So this is an inbound opportunity that came to me. Forget about all the outbound that I'm doing, pushing out. This is a guy who came into my world, right? And let me ask you this question. If somebody came by your house and started like peeking in your window, right? He's like, or she's like, number one, you probably call the cops. The other thing you probably do is open up the window and say, hey, can I help you? That's exactly what's happening here. Somebody has come by my page, took a look at who I am. That's an absolute trigger for me to be able to start a conversation with them, okay? The next thing is content, all right? So we've talked about profile, what you have to do with it, how you have to use it, and why it's important. The next thing is content. And everybody says content is king. I call bullcrap on that, okay? Content isn't king. Content is just another tool, just another tactic to build awareness and grab attention for who you are. So when you're producing content, do it very simply. We break it up into 2 buckets. There's business content, there's what I do, there's who I do it with, there's why I do it, right? And then there's personal content. There is what I care about, why I like it, who I am, who I hang out with, and where I go, that are all personal to me. I'm willing to share everything about myself. Not everybody is. That's okay. But what you do have to figure out is what you're okay with sharing, because what you're doing is you're building your reputation and credibility as a person. Okay. And I'll say it 1,000 times. It has to be authentic and genuine to who you are. If you are producing content, at some point, the people that see that content are going to meet you in person. If you don't match what you're putting out there to the world, they will immediately shut you down and never talk to you again. Okay. There's a story that I like to use about a CEO of a large company down here in South Florida that is very active on LinkedIn, always putting stuff out there. I really loved what he was putting out there as a person, right? I got a chance to meet him in person. I thought I was going to love this guy and that I would absolutely do anything to help him. When I met him, he couldn't have been more opposite from the person that he appeared to be online. And I took the exact opposite approach. I would never help that person if it was the last thing they asked me to do, because I don't believe in who they are. Right? If somebody is authentic and genuine with who I am or who they are and what they do, I'm willing to do whatever I can to help. If I can't trust you, I can't help you. So understanding that genuine and authentic has to be the key component to content. So the other thing is setting goals, right? Most people are like, oh, well, I want to create something that's going to go viral. I want something that everybody's going to like. Garbage. There's 3 goals for the content that you put out there. It's building your reputation and credibility so that when somebody comes into your world and they're trying to learn about you, they can see the things you're posting about and the things you're saying. Deliver value, right? Everybody in your audience should gain something every time you put a piece of content out there, even if it's just feeling good, right? You had a great sunset this morning. It was beautiful. You took a picture of it. Fantastic. Okay, share that. That's going to make somebody feel good. That's delivering value. And then staying top of mind. Nowhere else in the world can you communicate with your entire network of people on a daily basis by just putting something out there so that they see your name. I equate it to when I was in high school. You used to walk down the hallways, you'd high five people, you'd say hello to people. You know, you stayed top of mind for them, right? You saw them every day, you knew who they were. You didn't have to have a deep conversation, but you stayed top of mind. Social media allows you to do that with thousands and thousands of people a day, just by sharing your expertise, your knowledge, the things you care about, who you are every single day, okay? So some examples of content real quick as we get through this. This is something that I created. You spell success with 2 C's. What do they stand for? Compliant, committed, bang, 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 right? Great. I'm putting this out there because these are the things that I've learned through my career, both in football and in business, that make people successful. I'm trying to share that knowledge with people. No picture, no video, no nothing. I just put this out there, right? Great. People like it. I add the hashtags of my business and who I am. This is there so that if somebody sees it, right, they're going to know exactly what I'm about. It happened to get 4,000 views. That's a bonus. 18 likes. That's a bonus, right? 19 comments. That's a bonus. All of that is extra for what you get by putting out content. The main goal is to build reputation and credibility, deliver value, right? And stay top of mind, okay? So those are the 3 things that you want to be focused on. But as you get likes, as you get comments, all of that is a bonus to have a conversation with somebody. Hey, I saw you liked my post, and we'll get into this a little bit on how that works. But another thing that I shared, this is a video that I saw from Killer Mike as things were happening. It spoke to me. It was unbelievable. I thought that everybody should see it. So I take the link, right? I then put my own value to it. What does it mean to me? Why am I sharing it and put it out there for the world? Great, 24 likes. Beautiful. That's an extra bonus for me to go start a conversation, but that's not why I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out there because it keeps me top of mind, because even if you just scroll by it, You saw my name. You're remembering me. I'm staying top of mind so that if something happens with you, maybe you'll reach out and talk to me about it. Okay? So another form. This is a picture of my son. We're sitting at the kitchen table and he's coloring, and I see this and I absolutely love his face. Just like myself, just like my father, we've always stuck our tongue out when we're concentrating. Took a picture. Concentration is everything. These are things that matter to me that I'm putting out there so that people know right now. Social justice is important to me, right? My son is important to me, right? Winning edge is important to me. What are you doing? What are you thinking? How are you doing is important to me. All things that I'm doing. A video that I posted, I saw everybody jumping into LinkedIn to create videos. Absolutely everybody. One after another, doing. So I immediately jumped in there and said, hey guys, I get it. Video is the fun new toy, but if you want to make sure you're doing it the right way, here's 3 examples for you, right? Again, just sharing what I see, what I think that I think will have value in my network. So just a quick example of how I use it. Dave Murphy, the VP of Hospitality and Entertainment for the Redskins, likes something that I posted. I see that him and I have a mutual connection to my dad. So I reach out to him. Hey, my dad spoke really highly about you. Would love to grab a virtual coffee to share stories, right? He accepts the connection from me, okay? He accepts the connection from me, but doesn't respond to the message. Great, that's fine. That connection request or that connection exception to me means great. You've now served the conversation back to me. Let me follow up with you one more time. He comes back. I'm happy to. We ended up training their entire C-level staff on LinkedIn and some business development best practices like time management and stuff like that, all because of this interaction right here. So understanding how it can help and what it does. Here's a great example of somebody that came into my world and the value of keeping your profile and your content up to date and putting it out there, right? You and I seem to have many of the same professional interests. We both have a sports background, sales professionals, relationship oriented, and building and studying successful positive cultures. This is a guy that I don't know that is able to communicate everything that I like to me just because he came by my page. I am in Tampa area for work several times throughout the year and would love an opportunity to potentially meet. This is an inbound opportunity that came to me in my life to, even if we're just meeting each other, right? He's the regional VP of sales for a company called Mohawk. It's a massive company. What can I learn from him? How can we help each other? What can we do to grow together in the business world? This is an inbound opportunity. So the key to all of this is consistency. You can't jump into LinkedIn and start using it for a day and then not touch it for a month and be like, oh, LinkedIn doesn't work. No, you don't work. That's the difference. It requires daily activity, and this is what we train people to do as we jump through it. So getting to the end of this, I want to make sure that we get to the question and answer. Other things that we train people on is your audience is very important. Most people just accept every connection that comes in. We don't train people to do that. And if you're interested in learning more about how to build an active and engaged audience within your own network of people on LinkedIn, more than happy to jump into that with you. Best practices for content creation, how you structure a post, what kind of post, times of post, all of those kinds of things are things that we talk about with people. Ways to break through the communication clutter, how to use video within the platform. I mean, you know, we focus on the sales process as a whole and modernizing that. So there's a lot of different tools to use out there besides LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a tactic. It's a great tactic. I use it a lot to develop new business, but that doesn't mean that it's the only thing. But different ways to break through the communication clutter within the platform, rules of engagement, how to do things on a daily, consistent basis in order to really build and grow your network, are all things that we talk about. So we do a Noodleberg daily huddle every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. We're live. We're sharing best practices in business, content that's happening, stuff that you can use and carry to your audience. Would love for you guys to join us on that. We're in a Facebook group and on LinkedIn, and we go live every morning at 8 a.m. So please reach out to me if you're interested in that. And in closing, are you on the ball? So thank you guys for having me. Excited to jump into the questions. Sorry that I had to rush through some of that at the end, but I wanted to make sure that we were good.
Awesome. Can you hear me? I'm not sure if
I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
So, I'm sorry?
I just said we can hear you, Sarah.
Oh, okay. So those of you that have questions, make sure you go down to the bottom of the screen. If you hover over the bottom bar, there's a Q&A section, or it just says Q&A. You would click on it and ask. I'm going to start by asking, how is it that you accomplished so many things, and you honestly look, you're just so, you're very young. I mean, you've coached and you've done all these awesome things, and you make it look easy, but what's your secret? Is it LinkedIn?
Sacrifice is my secret. There were a lot of opportunities. I missed a lot of people's weddings when I was in that wedding season age between 24 and 28, where everybody I knew was getting married. I didn't get to a lot of those because I was coaching, because I was giving up what I had, the things that were out there for the things that I wanted to do. So just, sacrifice. And look, whatever you want is attainable. You just have to figure out what you're willing to give up in order to get it. So for me, success is not an option. It's a must. So learning as rapidly as I could, I hope that Jordan would back me up on this, is when I got hired at ESPN, I didn't know anything about digital marketing. I didn't know anything about radio marketing. I knew nothing about that, but I dove in head first into reading as many articles as I could and getting as much information as I could to get up to speed so that I could be a true marketing consultant and not just push what we had onto people, but really give advice and what the best things to do was for their business.
Well, love it. I mean, very impressive. Okay, here's a question for you. It's from somebody that's in the audience. If you are new to LinkedIn and just created your profile, how do you start looking for connections without looking like a stalker?
You should only add people you know, 100%. So start going through your network of people. The easiest way for, our generation or people that have a smartphone is you have a database of cell phone numbers of people that you've met throughout your life. Just start scrolling through the alphabet. Start with your A's and start searching for them on the platform. Send them a request. Again, these are things that we coach people on how to do, but I would never send a blank request. I don't care if it's my mother that I'm asking to connect with me. I'm letting her know why I want to connect with her, or giving her a message in order to start a conversation, because that is the true unlock of using the tool. Is not how many connections you have. I don't care if you have 30,000 connections. If you've only had a conversation with 5 of them, none of those people are of value to you. So connections to conversations is the real key. So everybody that you add, you want to have a conversation with.
So even your mom.
Everybody.
Well, and so that kind of leads me to the other side of things. So for some of us, when social media, when LinkedIn started, especially, it was, I made the mistake of just accepting everybody. So how do you go back when you don't even know?
What an unbelievable opportunity to have a conversation with somebody. So that you don't know them, right? Send them a direct message and say, hey, I see we're connected on here. We've never had a conversation. Why don't we grab a virtual cup of coffee in order to share stories and see if we can help each other? Wow.
That's great.
If they don't respond to you, goodbye. You're out of my network. You're not useful. I can't use you. You can't use me. We're not helping each other here. There's no point in us being connected.
Great. Okay, here's one. Is it better to write your LinkedIn profile in the third or first person? I wouldn't both.
Say that's a style thing. Everything in my core of what I believe is about relationship. If somebody reads something in the third person, that's not building a relationship with me. If they read my about section and it sounds like me telling them what I'm about and who I am, that's creating some kind of connection. I think in a world where connection is everything, it's not necessarily just people and messaging. It's connecting through all of those things. Third person does not create a connection for me. So I prefer it to come from my voice and sound like me speaking to them, because at the end of the day, people matter. People are the ones that win. People drive you to everywhere else. But it's a style. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's a style. If you prefer to be in third person and have it seem like somebody's writing a book about you, that's your own preference.
Yeah, but it makes sense what you're saying. You know, you're making it about you. It's personal. You know, so it makes sense what you're saying. Why it would be better to just do it in first person.
Yeah.
All right. Any other? Let's see if there's any other questions. I do know. I believe. Well, I know that this presentation's been recorded, so you know, we can all look at the slides that you created multiple times. Okay, one more question, and then. Do you post your own content or content you find / read and think is important more often?
Both. So for me, I think it's mandatory that you share a piece of content once a day. But that doesn't mean it has to be produced. You get better traction and you're building more of a brand when it comes from you. But I showed you that article about Killer Mike and his speech. That's just an article. I saw that video online. I grabbed the link and then shared it from my page because it's something that was important to me that I wanted people to get from me.
Right, right. All right. How do you handle persistent people who want to connect with you but are not a good person to connect with?
I block them. You can go to their page and you can click more and you can click block and they'll never be able to see you again. But I actually have fun with those people. Like I love when I get something into me that is just as sales get, right? They're pushing a product on me immediately. I come back to them and say, what makes you think that I would want to buy your product? You know, tell me what you saw in my world. Oh, well, I looked at your website. Really? Because my website's down right now. It's just a holding page. So did you really look at the website? Or are you just giving me the script that you're reading off of on how to handle objections? Like I love salespeople because I just love to work them that way to get them to the point of understanding. Build a relationship with me, man. I might buy the Titanic from you if you build a relationship with me.
Right. Well, and I think, you know, what you're saying is what we in the chamber world preach all the time, you know, just like you had brought up our breakfasts, which seemed like so long ago, but, you know, we constantly tell our new members during a new member orientation, the worst thing you can do is give your business card out to every single person at a breakfast. Yep. You know, you will never get anywhere. So, you know, like you said, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And it seems like LinkedIn is a good way for technology and personal to kind of come together and for people to literally get to know you, like you, and trust you through that platform. So
I think the unbelievable thing about LinkedIn that is different than Facebook, that is different than every other thing is that it's professional. So it's giving you the insight as to what company they work for, what that company does. It gives you so many reasons to have a conversation with somebody, and everybody that you're connected to, it unlocks the people that they're connected to. So why would you ever show up cold to somebody ever again when you can ask for an introduction by using the platform? So, you know, Jordan has seen the full version of this, which takes 2 hours. We teach a webinar called LinkedIn Like a Pro. I just hit on the profile and the value. We go into how to fish, how to find people that you want to get connected to, how to use the platform to really grow your network and expand. So obviously we don't have time to do that, but I wanted to get as much of the value that you could start doing today. Like for me, I would take a screenshot of us being in this, right? I would go on LinkedIn, I would post a picture and say huge thank you to the, you know, Boca Chamber for hosting this event, had unbelievable time learning, whatever, was with all of these other people from the chamber, and you're creating dialogue, you're creating connection, you're creating an entire world around what you're doing.
So great.
So there's a couple questions that I can see from the Q&A that I'll get to. How much time should you spend on LinkedIn? I spend as much time as I can on LinkedIn. You know, time management is critical in being successful. So I block everything out on my calendar. But if I have an extra second, I'm immediately on there. I'm looking for what people are posting and sharing and who's liking it and who I can connect with and who I can start a conversation with. So to me, while it's still just a tactic within my business development strategy, it is a large tactic. I spent a lot of time on it. When posting information content on LinkedIn, what is the best way to transition viewers into clients is have a conversation, right? Have a conversation. figure out who those people are. Now, you're not going to see who viewed it. Just because I got 4,000 views, I didn't get those 4,000 names. You're only going to get the people that like it or comment on it or share it. But as soon as somebody likes something that I posted that I don't know, I'm going right to their profile. Who are they? Is this a person I should have a conversation with, and asking to have a conversation, thanking them for liking my post. Wow, that's amazing that you would do that. I appreciate your action. Why don't you and I grab a virtual cup of coffee to share stories?
Awesome. All right, and then Alexa,
let's go. Already doing it. I loved it.
she's already linked or tagged us, done all the kit and caboodle.
Love it.
So, okay, so last call, because we're out of time, actually. So I don't see any more questions coming in. Very, very informative. If you could see everyone's faces right now, which we can't, but I would expect to see very excited, smiling people, because you have such a great energy. You're very real, and I appreciate that. And, I'm thrilled that Jordan, you suggested Mark to be our speaker, and it was just a wonderful suggestion. I look forward to working more with you. We all do. We look forward to connecting on LinkedIn, and
with a message, with
a real message, right? Something real. Be real. That's the best piece of advice to come out of what you said today. So thank you all. Make sure that you check out our calendar for all of our other events. I know next month will be another Pulse event, which is our Professionals Under 40 group, but we have plenty of events in between then and now. And make sure to download our app. It's just Boca Chamber in the App Store, and download that. You'll have everything you need at your fingertips. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, all of you on the call, and have a great week.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.